Hello everyone, welcome or welcome back. It's good to see you. So I was just about to film an astrology sign reading. I was connected to that sign. I was picking out the tarot decks. I was good to go. And then all of a sudden, I just knew that I needed to film a collective reading. Even though I filmed one relatively recently, the one about the trapdoor, it was just this spontaneous knowing that I had to do this. So I have not tuned into anything yet. I have not pulled any cards yet. I have no clue what's about to come through, but that is, of course, part of the message and the energy that's coming through here for you. There's something about the value of being spontaneous, the value of acting on impulse. I feel like Spirit is encouraging you or inviting you to be maybe more fluid in a way, more adaptable, willing to change at a moment's notice if that's what you're guided to do, right? Impulse and instinct can be divine forces of nature if you're in the right embodiment and you're acting from connection rather than fear. Spirit is just saying, are you willing to change? Are you willing to change? But maybe it really isn't change. Do we ever really change? Now I'm getting philosophical. Okay, I'll just go with it. Do we ever really change, or is it just that we're continuously shedding layers and layers and layers of what was never really us, right? So, okay, let's pull some cards. I'm using a brand new Oracle deck. I'm so excited. I haven't used it at all yet for anybody but myself. 222 on the timer. So let's see what wants to come through. Highest and best messages for the collective. Spirit. I'm hearing things will get better. I know that's very broad and vague. I guess somebody needs to hear that. Things will get better. They already are getting better. Okay. I was hearing temper or temperance. We've got two here. Okay. Intuition. There's that fluidity. And mind. You see how she's pulling her head out of herself? It's like those Russian nesting dolls. That analogy just came through for me the other day in my personal life for something else unrelated. But the Russian nesting dolls are coming through here. Your mind is like those Russian nesting dolls. Oh, okay. Hang on a second. Well, we usually think of ourselves as having layers, but this is specifically saying that your mind has layers. Your mind has many, many layers, and I'm hearing compartments. And it's like you could be operating within one layer or level of your mind for quite some time without any awareness of this other layer or level to it. But now you're starting to I guess pull out or maybe dissect your own psyche with your intuition. It feels like you're exploring your own mind. It's this, or Spirit wants you to. Is this what the collective is doing or what they should do? This is what they should do. Okay, I'm hearing this is what you're being invited to do now if you're not doing it already. Go on a journey through your own mind. Unravel your own mind. See what lies under the surface of certain thoughts and beliefs. There's more than meets the eye to what you're thinking. There's a deeper layer. What does this have to do with being spontaneous? Let's pull more cards. So it's not just that your thoughts and beliefs are unraveling. Spirit wants you to like actively do that. Actively it's like pull out, release. Surface level thoughts to get to deeper beliefs that are fueling those thoughts. What does this have to do with being spontaneous and impulsive, Spirit? Soul. I love this deck. I think this is like, this has become immediately one of my favorite decks of all time, if not my favorite deck. It speaks to my soul. Spontaneous. Well, the essence of who you are, your soul stream, let's say, that is driving your physical incarnation, that soul stream, that energy that you are, it is supremely spontaneous. You are a spontaneous being. Part of being divinely, truly connected to life is going with the flow, right? And the analogy that's coming to me is a river, but the river is full of like rocks and tree stumps and sticks and animals, and there's like a beaver dam, and there's points in the river where the water is like forming a whirlpool. The water, the river, it's very busy. So to be the water in that river, you have to be adaptable, right? To be connected to the flow that wants to happen, you have to be willing to navigate around sudden obstacles, right? Hopefully that makes sense. Your mind has prevented you from acting on the spontaneous nature of your soul. And you're ready to let that go. You're ready to unravel that pattern. And I feel like being divinely guided to be spontaneous, that doesn't mean that you have a lack of commitment. I don't think that's the same at all. Being impulsive is not in direct opposition to being committed to someone or something or yourself, right? Well, maybe being spontaneous is the ultimate commitment to yourself. It's so weird that the head of this figure looks like teeth. I don't know if it's meant to look like that or not, but it just looks like a mouth. Teeth. Didn't teeth come through, or the jaw came through in the last collective reading too? Huh. Okay. Spirit's telling me to continue pulling more of these oracle cards. Okay. I don't have a problem with that. What else do you want to say about this, Spirit? Just a few minutes ago, right before I started to record, there was a ginormous turkey right outside across the street. Like huge male turkey, all fluffed up, feathers poofed. It was strutting around. and it felt like dominating. The energy of it was dominating. I don't know what the spiritual symbolism of turkey is, but maybe that's relevant too. I'm seeing 444. Home. Okay. Yeah. Something in your life has been confining you, but it has felt like home. This box or this home that the figure is in the picture, it could be very, very cozy and containing, even comforting, or it can be claustrophobic, right? Is home comforting or claustrophobic? Have you been telling yourself that something is comfortable when really it is claustrophobic? You can't be spontaneous when you're all, yeah. She's all cramped in there. She's cramped. And sure, she has her plants and a couple pieces of furniture and she's safe in theory. But she can't stretch. You're ready to stretch. That's part of being spontaneous. So what in your life has been comfortable only because it is familiar? But if you unravel your thoughts about it and go deeper, you'll find that actually what is comfortable is confining. There's a sense of stuckness here even. Okay, I'm hearing one or two more. I feel like I could give a whole reading with just this oracle deck. Okay, we've got 3. All right, fine. 4, fine. Okay, harvest. Flow. Recharge. And guide. Ooh, this is cool. You have, okay, so the harvest card is making me think cycle completion. It feels like you have already reaped the reward of some kind of phase of your life, cycle of life. I'm hearing something played out as it should, and you reaped all the benefits that you could from something, a way of being, a relationship, a job, anything, fill in the blank. And now you're flowing away from that harvest basket. You're being called to expand, right? And through this recharge, I love that there's a moon in the background that connects back to the very first card, intuition. Spirit wants you to use your own intuition to feel into what you need to recharge, recharging your battery so that you're ready for a new adventure. Because Spirit is guiding you in a new way. Spirit is literally saying, it's time to go over here. You're done. You're done here. You've reaped all the rewards of this situation. Whatever you felt like has been home or comfortable or familiar, right? You're done. So let yourself release from that situation. Give yourself some time to recharge whatever you feel like you need in order to be with yourself truly, including unraveling your own mind. What would help you to, mentally 1444, and I was seeing 444. What would help you to mentally recharge, unwind and recharge? because pretty soon there's a new adventure up ahead. There's a new direction. You've got to be ready for it. Okay, wait, but now I need to know what that is. I don't want to stop. Okay. This guide card might be spirit, just in general, or it could be a very particular guide in your life that wants to work with you right now. So what is the collective being guided towards ultimately? Change. It's time to turn the page. Okay, this came through in a personal reading a little while ago, and I loved it so much it really like stuck in my head, and I feel guided to ask it now. Because it's a book, right? If your life story was a book and you knew that you were the author, what would you write next? What would you write next in the story of your life? Because you are the author. You do not control your life or reality, right? We've talked about this before in other readings. You do not control reality. You create it. There's a very big difference. But in that creative way, you are the author of your own life. So what story do you want to write for yourself next? What do you want this next chapter to look like? Because Spirit is telling you, turn the page. Okay. Now let's go into tarot. I was guided to use the Horror Tarot by Todd Alcott. This deck is really sassy and kind of like harsh. It's sarcastic. It's not a deck I would ever recommend somebody use if they're feeling incredibly delicate or tender or like needing comfort. So something about you right now is ready for either a jarring truth. I don't know if jarring is the right word, but just the truth. No matter how unexpected. Oh yeah, that's it. At least some part of you is ready for the truth, no matter how unexpected it is. The truth of yourself or a situation. Where do I go from here? Just what does the collective need to know or do? We'll keep it broad here. What does the collective need to know or do at this time? Ten of Cups, cycle completion again. What about it? This just feels old. You know, it's like an old photograph, right? Black and white photograph of a family. It feels like old energy. It's tying right back into that Harvest card. For a lot of you, there are, if not old relationships, old patterns in relationships that you have enough, you've created enough distance from those patterns now that you can look back at them and say, oh yeah, no, I'm not the same person. I'm not the same person in my relationships. I'm not looking for the same thing in relationships anymore. Those relationships in the past served me immensely, but you may even be looking at past relationships with a sense of nostalgia, but you can feel that nostalgia without wanting to recreate the past. What about the Ten of Cups? Eight of Swords, featuring isolation, abandonment, and restriction. Oh. Well, you definitely are ready to recognize all the ways that you have held yourself back in relationships in the past. There's that purple again. Color purple, still coming up for the collective. It feels like you're ready to set yourself free from old ways of thinking in relationships that caused pain. And of course, every relationship is a reflection of your relationship to yourself. So it all comes back to you, how you relate to you, right? So maybe you're ready to I don't know, explore new relationship dynamics. Ten of Swords. I'm just hearing lots of drama. The Ten of Swords is quite dramatic, right? Maybe there was a lot of drama in past relationships. And maybe to a certain extent, that drama felt familiar. Oh yeah, okay, yep. This is actually making me think of what came up in the Capricorn reading I just did yesterday. It's a flavor of that. I mean, this is its own message, but it's an echo of that. What came up for Capricorn is that they were handed an emotional story as a child that is not theirs, and they've been playing out that emotional story or pattern their whole life without fully recognizing it. But now they do, and they're ready to release that emotional story, right? This feels the same. This is ancestral. This feels like whatever patterns, painful patterns, you have played out in relationships, Spirit is inviting you to, well, I'm hearing broaden your horizons, but it's like open your mind to see that these patterns are inherited. These patterns have been playing out through your family line in different ways for generations and generations and generations. I'm hearing there is nothing new under the sun. There is nothing new under the sun. But you're the one, apparently. You are the one in your family line who can end these painful patterns of restriction, abandonment, fear, rejection, drama, right? And somehow it's all tied into being more spontaneous. Well, listening to the flow of your soul rather than the constriction and fear of your mind, right? Because it is beliefs that we inherit. What beliefs are not your own, especially when it comes to relationships, but in any sector of life. 24 on the timer. Okay, now what? Well, I am hearing Raven. Not just because that's me. Something about the Raven. Yeah, well, zooming out, seeing things from a bird's eye view perspective, right? But ravens are also, oh gosh, hang on. Now my foot is cramping. Okay. Ravens are omen carriers? How would you even say that? Right? Don't they represent like omens? Something to come. There's a message coming through about something that you're lining up with. Because you are the one to alchemize these patterns in your family line, you're lining up with something unexpected. What is that? Okay, 5 of Pentacles. Let's get a couple more. The Devil. I love this Devil card. Can we just have a moment of appreciation for this Devil card? It says, sex, obsession, addiction, enslavement, all the things that make life worth living. Horror Tarot. The vampirism of the devil forces you to give in to your darkest impulses, binding you to his will. Wow. Okay, wait. One more. There it is. 3 of Wands. You have left your castle and are now on your journey on a vast open sea, a place of doubt and insecurity, but progress is being made. This is you turning the page and writing a new chapter, right? Embracing a broader horizon. Okay. It's almost like you are ready to exalt the energy of impulsiveness. Every single energy has light and shadow, right? Just like every single tarot card has light and shadow. Everything has its exalted state and its shadow state. Maybe in your family line, there has been a shadow form of impulse. But impulse can be beautiful. Impulse doesn't have to be in shadow. Impulse doesn't have to be fear-driven. Maybe you have felt a slave to your own impulses in the past. 5 of Pentacles. Well, fear, right? Loneliness and fear, trying to find a way out. Yeah, it's almost like, and going back to the home card, feeling trapped. In the past, perhaps, part of this family line trauma, let's just say trauma, is this sensation of being, alone. I guess loneliness can kind of feel like being trapped in a way. I don't know. This is really interesting. And so to kind of counteract that feeling of being trapped, like a wild animal, right? Maybe there's this pattern of impulsively, like acting impulsively to just change a situation as fast as possible without thinking of the long-term consequences. But now, when you're rooted in your power and you're connected to your soul and you use your mind rather than being used by your mind, you can flow with impulse as a form of divine guidance rather than as this reactive, fear-driven thing to try to just avoid something. Okay, let's get some advice and then we'll get a journal prompt. Advice for the collective. Here we go. Nice. 7 of Pentacles. And Eight of Wands. Speaking of impulse, change. It's coming. Something is in the air. Action. The time is now. Where will you be when the big event happens? Oh my gosh, I love it so much. Well, I mean, it feels like it's pretty straightforward. I feel like the advice here, Spirit is just saying, pause, recharge, take a second, and reflect on what you are being inspired to be impulsive relative to. Where is your pure soul energy inspiring you to move? Even if it seems impulsive, even if it seems totally spontaneous and unexpected, your soul energy is definitely, I feel like it is driving you towards something completely new, but that energy has been suppressed. If you stop, if you pause, give yourself a little bit of a break to recharge and just unravel your mind and sink into your energy, your true authentic energy that lives below the mind, you'll find that your soul stream is actually directing you someplace very specific and quite immediately. Ace of Cups at the bottom of the deck. I love this Ace of Cups. A renewed heart. Your soul is guiding you in the direction of a renewed heart, giving love without fear. Yeah. Let's get a journal prompt for you. All right. From my journal prompt deck. Yep. Okay, we've got 2. Okay. What mistake or failure are you grateful for and why? It's not a mistake or a failure if you learned, right? Going back to, past pain and patterns that you're ready to break. And then this one is a little bit more fun and lighthearted. What is your favorite quote and why? I'm hearing clear yourself from the understanding that you made a mistake when it was really just you playing out the record. It's almost like those family patterns, they were a record, and you were just playing the song you were given. It's not your fault. You're the one who's here to learn from those patterns and ascend beyond them. So if you're learning from these mistakes or failures, then that's exactly what you're doing. That's part of what you're here to do. And then whatever your favorite quote is, of course, that tells you a lot about yourself. So think about those, see where they take you. Let's get a closing message from a compendium of Witches Oracle. Oh, Timekeeper. What is that? Just heard Timekeeper. I'm hearing the Timekeeper's way. Hang on. Something about you being a timekeeper means that you understand divine timing. And when you freed yourself from the shackles of your mind or your fearful thoughts, you can, you're automatically like in sync with divine timing. Okay, closing message here. Yes, sickle, number 38. Did this come up in the last, did this come up in the last reading? It came up for somebody. Okay. Harvest, results, reward. As we cut and harvest the fruits of our garden, we do not only see the sustenance they will give us, but also the seasons spent preparing the soil, feeding it with nutrients, sowing the seeds, waiting patiently, and caring for the plants. Harvesting is not the simple act of taking from the earth, but only the final step in a long process of dedicated work, one that sees us as beneficial parts of a functioning system. The sickle card invites us to consider how the best results often come from well-established routines, healthy paces, and committed work. Huh. Well, it goes back to the harvest card, right? Harvest. Right? Reaping the rewards of your hard work. You are ready to reap the rewards of your hard work. And what is that reward? That you're free to follow the spontaneity of your soul. And again, to me, like, this is the exalted form of impulse, right? So this does not mean you're not committed to anyone or anything. They are not opposed. These two things are not opposed. Okay. Well, this was fun. Thank you for letting me read for you. I hope this was helpful, or at least thought-provoking. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I'd love to hear from you. And as always, I'll be putting those journal prompts in the description box along with several others, so be sure to check them out. They'll help you to process everything and take your inner work a little deeper. I'll see you next time. Bye.